Well, I'm still on this thing about virtue of love and is love a virtue? Go back and take a look at that video. So, in my quest for wanting to understand more things, what happens is it may trigger one thing, and then something else comes along, which then triggers another, which leads me down this path of wanting to explore and wanting to obtain, learn, understand with as much resources as I can. But our resources are very limited. They truly are limited, and they're limiting because so many things change because of our ancestral DNA lineage passed down and stored in the subconscious. Subconscious is stored in the body. And then our current reality of all the things that are stored in our subconscious, stored in our body. So everything is stored everywhere, whether you're aware of sensing and feeling it, or it's such a distant memory, it doesn't feel like it's an experience, but it's stored there. So then we want to talk about like the 5 languages of love. Are there really only 5? So I'm like, what the heck are they again? So I had to look it up. Words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality of time, physical touch. That's great. What if you came into this world and naturally you would be a toucher and you loved touching and exploring? Also a sign of fingertips, brain, kinesthetic, brain, stimulation points, brain, filtering information, brain. So you're a toucher. But the caregiver has much more of a violent touch. And so you're being physically violated and scolded, and you feel pain through words and actions of your caregivers. Is your real language of love physical touch? I don't know, because you don't perceive it and receive it in the same way when you've got that angst of, whoops, something's incoming. See what I mean? I currently know somebody right now, and I cannot figure out that person's language of love. When birthdays come along, I make sure there's a cake, things are sung, there's a personal gift. Doesn't matter. I can come over, help out at the house, help out with the loads of things that are going on. I can make a sandwich. I can bring it to that person. No real response. Quality of time or quantity of time appears to get under that person's skin if it's too much. Now, what's the other one? Physical touch. We're not really in a position of physical touch, and I don't really see that person interacting with their children with a lot of physical touch, so I can't put my finger on it. I know that there was a rough childhood. I know there was a very poor parts of the country where that person grew up. I take all those things into consideration, but as a really good friend, I have thought lately a lot about different things, and that was one of them, that I haven't been able to figure out that person's language of love or what they actually appreciate. Because what they say they may appreciate with a thank you or whatever, it doesn't get displayed in their own life towards others, so I'm not so sure that any of these categories are their language of love. So you really don't know if you're an introvert or an extrovert based on how you're raised and what you're allowed to be comfortable with. If you go to take a step out and be more extroverted, and you have someone say to you, well, don't think you're all that. You learn to maybe take a step back. I don't even know where to go with some of this that's really bebopping around in my head today. All from this that came out this morning on my teacup. It has set me off. Love is the highest of all virtues. I'm not so sure about any of that. You have to go back and see my other video. But anyway, my whole point is that everything that has been handed down to you from your ancestors and from your current experiences shape and mold who you are, good, bad, or indifferent. And until you're ready to step into therapeutic modalities that can help you explore and look at things in a different way and affect your behavior and your perceptions and your understanding and your compassion components and your love components and all these different things and all these different parts of you, you're going to continue to act and be the way you are. And there will come a time and a space when you're going to look at yourself and go, I'm not so sure I really like how I've gotten here. I'm not so sure I really know what makes me tick. You know, I mentioned something about the lockdown, and there was a lot of people that were introverted that literally went insane because they feed off of energetics from other people. They have to have that. They have to come out of their hole and grab a hold of some of that and take it back in, and that's enough. And everybody's got their that's enough in different spaces. You've got extroverts that have to go out there and just get so much of it, and they're so stimulated from all of it, and it feeds them so much that then they short circuit and pass out when there's no activity. So there's this whole imbalance. There's this total imbalance on almost everything. And I think it's because Mother Earth has been regurgitating all the bullshit that's been handed to her, all the harm, all the ancestral crap that's been on this planet that has seeped down so deep. I feel like she's like spitting it back up. And she's saying, everybody look at this. And you're not going to find it in your Google. Look at this. And that is what is happening in our physical. So while the energetics are changing, our body wants to stretch. It wants to expand. It wants more solitude. Maybe it wants more nature and outing. You know, you got to figure out when you're craving something, ask yourself what it is that you're really craving. Is it mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, etheric? Where is the root of that wanting to crave something? Perhaps you feel lethargic one day because of things that you ate a few days before, and your body is just hitting that sluggish spot. And you're like, oh, it must be the weather, must be a conversation I had with somebody, and you looked at things to pin it on when it could have happened days ago, or it could have been a buildup. So you really don't honestly know the who of you until you really start getting in and start looking at yourself in the mirror. And that's what I do in my sessions. I help you look in the mirror and really take the film and the clouds and the things that hid you, whatever circumstances got you to where you are. how can you be even better in that moment and in the moments moving forward? And you know, I was talking to someone this morning during an interview, and as much as I would love to do group things, and I'm going to do more group things to get more information out to the masses, and this video is one of them, so please share it, is every time I help one person via Zoom or on my table, it helps another person and the resounding people in their demographics, in their family unit, underneath their roof, in their jobs, in their communities. By helping one person, I help the domain and the hood of that person, and where they take their selves out as a better person, all from coming in and being with me and working through the you that is us, because we all mirror each other. Make sense? Okay then, enough from me today. Just be the living, loving beams of light that you are. Know that just being that light is all the love and protection that you need, because that's what you are. That's what you are. You're already beams of light. You just may need to work with the dimmer switch a little bit. Turn it up sometimes, turn it down sometimes. Adjust the gears. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff we work on, helping you adjust, figuring out where you lock it in, where you unlock it, and tweak it again. Yeah. All right, my friends, so much love. Like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment. Bye.